What is up, friend and fellow anti-netter? It is a Friday. I'm driving to the office right now at 10:30 anti-meridium. And what I want to talk to you about today is becoming the blank guy or the blank gal. And what I mean by this is that, the world is filled with complexity, right? And one of the things that you need to do is very quickly, you need to stand out and state your message of what you are and what you do. And thus introduces us to the framework of the blank guy or the blank gal. What I mean by this is that if you navigate over to my Twitter profile, at one point I had my profile, it said the analog knowledge guy. And I did that for a reason. There's people in, the space and my adjacent markets. One individual does high ticket, high end writing courses, which it's just like he teaches you how to sit down on your ass and just write. It's like, really, that's it. But he does something really unique and really good, is that he brands himself the writing guy. And then there's another individual, and you're going to be familiar with him if you're a productivity junkie and a PKM nerd, and that is the man named Tiago Forte. And he basically has, for a long time, he was like a productivity coach, I think, and he took the David Allen's Getting Things Done principle, so then he kind of transformed it into the digital age, and he created a concept called a second brain. And really all a second brain is basically like, hey, you need to use Evernote, and then he has some acronym and way of organizing things into folders. So that's really it. And he's done a brilliant and ingenious job of branding this whole idea and saying, hey, you need to build a second brain. Well, his Twitter profile is branded, it's the second brain guy. So the first guy is the writing guy, and then Tiago Forte is the second brain guy. So you following me? And ironically, or not so ironically, I am friends with, and I've actually sent him, he's received various issues of the Scott Scheper letter. So he's in the subscriber group of the Scott Scheper letter. And the man I'm talking about is actually the marketer that helps both of these individuals. And, I think it's probably not ironic that both of them really do, if you follow them closely, these two individuals, they follow the same kind of marketing framework. And it's a really good concept. And that framework is to be the blank guy or the blank gal. And so, the problem that I kind of foresee myself having is that, on one hand, I love the analog Zettelkasten niche, the anti-net Zettelkasten. So I was branding myself the analog knowledge guy. However, I foresee myself going deep into the world of helping people make a six-figure income writing one thing a month. And the vehicle in which one does that, one of the key principles revolves around physical knowledge. I'm talking paper knowledge, analog knowledge that arrives, on the person's doorstep, right? And so one of the things is I'm kind of playing with the idea of, instead of being the analog knowledge guy, I'm testing out the concept of branding myself as the old school writing guy. And the reason for doing that is that, analog knowledge is such an opaque, vague term, whereas writing, and if you brand yourself the old school writing guy, you can even niche yourself even more. And so one of the things I talk about in issue number 7 of the Scott Scheper letter, which is probably going to be released by the time you listen to this, is, issue number 7 all revolves around finding your niche, meaning getting clarity and getting a clear roadmap on what you want to create, what you want to write about, what you want to stand for, what you want your research interests to be, and what you want to focus on, what you want to be known for, and how you want to make a 6-figure income, via your intellectual work, meaning researching, writing, and creating. So, one of the items I talk about in the framework I teach in issue number 7 revolves around pursuing your fascination. And I talk about this example of, I love the color lime green, right? I have a lime green Tesla Model S Plaid. There's the Lambo, the lime green Lambo. I've had a lime green Hellcat before the Lambo and before the Tesla. I've had a lime green pimped out insane Jeep. I've just made it my thing. I have lime green lights, if you notice, in my office, and I have a lime green phone. I have a lime green wallet. Now, here's the problem. If I just decided, hey, I'm going to my fascination is the color lime green. If I wanted to make that my niche, right, there's only one problem with this, and I talk about this in issue number 7. The problem is that there's only one person out there in the world that is as obsessed with the color lime green as I am. And I swear to God, her name is Elizabeth Sweetheart. You can look her up. She's known as the Green Lady of Brooklyn. And if I just wanted to be you know what? I'm going to find my niche. My niche is green things. I'm going to make lime green things for people that love lime green things. Maybe I would find a little bit more people out there in the world like Elizabeth Sweetheart. But the problem is that, that's not really a good fascination, a good niche to create. And so I outline this and what to do in the framework that you should really follow in issue number 7 of the Scott Shepherd letter. And one of which, as an example, for instance, if I still wanted to lean into my fascination of the color lime green, what I would do is I would look for congregations out there online of niche things, of craft things. For example, homemade goods, or, Etsy goods and crafty goods. And for example, I would find something let's say the soap, there's this niche online called for soap makers, people that love making soap. And let's say I wanted to, dive in and I was interested in this, this little niche for soap makers. And if you're a soap maker, you're called a soaper. So people that make soap and are soap makers are called soapers. So what I would do is I would still hold in my mind my love and fascination of lime green. And then what I would do is I would go on a journey. I would go on a journey where I would master the craft of soap making. I would become the best freaking soap maker in the world. I would go on 3 insane challenges going deep into the archives and the craft of soap making. And then what I would do is I would come up with, and I would do this all authentically or organically. If this didn't happen, I wouldn't do this. But I imagine I would kind of get in touch with some inner magic, some art, some peace, some fulfillment, some tranquility while I am making soap and pursuing this and then gifting that soap to other people, right? I think it would help me probably if I got into that craft, get in touch with something higher than just the materialistic world. I would gift some soap to my, amazing, hot, beautiful girlfriend's parents, right? And see the joy maybe on her mom's face, and that would give me some tranquility and peace, and that would kind of give me a message that, oh my God, there is an art and a higher purpose for making soap. Now, here's what else I would do. I would go back to the congregation of soap makers and soapers, and I would share all of these tricks and all of these intricacies and the art and the craft and the magic of why soap making is so important, right? Then what I would do is I would create a philosophy, a higher order mantra and movement, something that you'll learn about in issue number 5. I call it a UTSM. Okay? I would create an unconventional, transcendent, simple message and declare that, there's this magic, there's this art in soap making. And I would create a brand. I would create almost a world, almost like you're at my own personal Disneyland around this soap making. But here's what I would do that would be different. My brand would all revolve around the color lime green. It would be lime green. I would only make lime green soap, be lime green boxes. My philosophy, my mantra, my higher order, basically my creed, that I would gift with every single piece of soap that is delivered to people's doorstep would be, on like beautiful green paper. Probably not, maybe lime green, maybe lime green paper with black ink, in my favorite font, right? My Courier-based typewriter font. So I would create a world, and I would be the lime green soaper. So I wouldn't just be the lime green guy. I would be the lime green soaper. And the reason why is that it actually provides something of value, of use, and external utility to the world. But packed in with it is also my unique traits, my unique fascination of the color lime green. So that's what I want you to think about. I outlined this, and I outlined this whole journey of crafting and finding your niche in issue number 7. And hopefully you were smart, and hopefully you picked it up. Hope this helped. Hope this gave you some insight. And always remember to stay crispy, my friend. Peace.